from Austria. Maya, what's glory metal?
Something glorious?
Whatever in somebody's delusional acid fantasies it may be, it also happens to be the online self-identification of Austria's own Dragony. And here is their latest release, Viribus Unitis.
Yes, that's right. Viribus Unitis.
I pronounced it right for a change. How amazing is that? One of the reasons we love Zinal so much is that we get the full-size jacket art. I mean, Maya, how cool is that?
Epic.
I mean, I'm almost tempted to buy that just to hang on my wall as wall art. And if you buy the vinyl edition, it exists in very cool transparent red. It's got a nice gatefold album sleeve. All the lyrics, which we'll get to in a minute. But in any event, what we actually have here, glory metal notwithstanding, is a power metal record, a very traditional sort of power metal record with fairly Scandinavian overtones. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you, in spite of its Central European origins?
It's definitely the poppy side of power metal. More
Yeah,
like flower metal.
Yeah, what its detractors sometimes will refer to as flower metal. I'd say Stradivarius from Finland very much comes to mind listening to a lot of this. Lyrically, you want to take this one?
This is a concept album where history becomes fantasy, starting with the end of the Austro-Hungarian conflict, Franz Joseph as the emperor, all that kind of stuff.
Late 19th century.
It falls into what becomes the First World War.
Except that very shortly after the end of the Austro-Hungarian conflict, this record just goes out in Never Neverland. I'm not even going to try to summarize the whole storyline here.
I think Harry Houdini and Nikola Tesla were involved.
Yeah, Harry Houdini is an actual sorcerer in this. Nikola Tesla builds what?
Both a flying city and a giant robot suit.
Yeah, and one of Franz Joseph's kids resurrects his dead mom. In the description down below your video, we'll put a link to the synopsis online. You hear concept album, probably the first thing that pops into your head is progressive metal. Progressive metal, this is not. This is verse, chorus, verse songwriting personified. And with it comes all your typical trappings of that whole Northern European style of power metal.
Big choruses, synthesized orchestrations, double kick.
Lots of double kick.
Predominant vocal melodies, and very, very catchy.
We were the masters and the rulers of this world, but now our reign is shaking as it comes and falls. Through the storm, through the fire, our legacy is forged. It's the
Compared to other records of its ilk, the keyboards aren't quite as obnoxious as we've come to expect.
Yeah, it's much more evenly mixed with the guitars and the keys and synthesizers and stuff than you would usually see in something from Finland like Sonata Arctica, where it's almost all keys.
At least taking the melody. I mean, a lot of the bands like this do have a fair amount of guitars, but usually in a very much a supporting role. And I listen to a lot of that stuff, and probably one of the things that turns me off about it is I'm sitting there thinking there's something missing. And you know, what's missing is just some sweet, sweet riffing. And here we have it. Great riffs, great solos. It's all there. The keyboards do not eat up all the melodic space, and we are grateful for it. There is also, comparatively speaking, a pretty nice mix of tempos and grooves. It's not all speedy double kick stuff. Unlike certain other bands I could name, Dragon Force, I Am Looking at You. It's not all spectacular. This album is a little bit front-loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say the first 5 or 6 tracks are most of the best tracks on the album.
Yeah, they're amazing. So there are good, better ones, and they're in the end like made of metal. Say.
Absolutely. I'm not saying there's no good material on the back half of the album.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, not at all. Made of Metal in particular totally rocks my world, but there's also some filler. I'm going to say it's unobjectional filler. There's unobjectionable filler. My pronunciation is lacking today. Don't tell them about the heroin. Anyway, so things like Golden Dawn, they're not bad, but they do seem to slide by me every single time I hear them without making much of an impact. As a matter of fact, I would probably say that is my least favorite track on the record. If I had to pick a favorite, I would go with the mid-tempo creep fest. That is Love It to Death.
There's a fire that burns in my soul. There's a darkness consuming me whole. I am alone, heir to the throne, chilled to bone. The shadows call out to me.
It's Love You to Death.
Love You to Death.
It's not a love something to death, it's a love a person to death. Don't forget, this is where Rudolph murders his lover.
Oh, yeah. Historically, Franz Joseph's son Rudolph committed suicide along with his girlfriend or wife or whatever it was. On this album, he survives, but he kills her. Each song tells a specific part of the story, and that's what Love It to Death is, but...
Love You to Death.
I keep getting it mixed up with the Alice Cooper album. Give me a break. Anyway, I don't know. What does it for you here, Maya?
I don't know. My favorite is probably Darkness Within. It's definitely a heavier track, and yeah. I like My least favorite is probably Legends Never Die. It seems like they tacked it on at the end because they needed 4 more minutes. I mean, it's not awful, but it's not exciting either. It's
Fair
just
assessment.
there.
That's also one of my least favorites. Strangely enough, it's a single in a music video. So, what do I know? Anyway, that's where this platter ends. However, the version on Tidal, and I assume at least some of the CD releases, also features a bonus track in German.
It's about Vienna at night. I actually copied and pasted it into Google Translate. It's not a perfect translation, but...
Okay, fair enough. I have no idea what they're saying. It's a cool track. I wouldn't consider it essential, but it's kind of fun. So even if you have the vinyl, you should probably go on to Tidal or whatever, or YouTube, however, whatever you choose to use, and check out the bonus track. In any event, this album, not quite all killer, no filler, but it sure won me over. And I have to be honest, Dragony is a band that I had never heard of when I first became aware of this release this year. I will be, as time permits, checking out the rest of their back catalog. I think this is what their...
4th or 5th.
Fourth or fifth record? Yeah. So, heartily recommended. Buy this album. Maya, any final thoughts?
No, it's just a great record. It's memorable. It's something I'd put on again and again.
Alright. That's all for this time. And until we meet again...
Crank it up a little louder.
News just broke today. My cousin has been slain.